And hello everyone, welcome back again to CSC 151. In this video, we're going to go over this revenue chart in Excel. So first things first, let's go and click the downloadable packet and let's take a look and see what it is we have to do. So all the criteria is right there, same place as always. And here, I always wind up using Nintendo as my examples, but here we go. So, first things first, then afterwards, let's open up Excel. And you know what? I could use this previous example, but I'm going to make a blank workbook and just once again remind everyone how to save things. So let's just go and create a new workbook here. And I will go and hit File, Save. And I shall do Save As just for the sake of making sure that I guarantee that I'm naming something. And now it's just a matter of finding where it is that I have it. So I know that this is somewhere in previous 30 days. I know I had it in the Forgetful Squirrels website at some point, but this is where, let me go to desktop. Nope, let me find David's iMac. There we are. Users. There's myself. My documents. Lincoln Spring 2023. Examples. There we go. So let me not save it as literally the exact same name, because doing the exact same name means I'm going to overwrite this file. So I'll just put a 2 here. Class example 2. So once again, remember, you're always going to have to find where it is you put stuff. As long as you know where it is you're doing stuff, you're good. And I'm saving it as an Excel worksheet. So save. There it is. And of course, let me go and double click down here and say that this is the, what is this, revenue chart? Revenue Monticchio. And I'll put my name in it. David Monticchio. And today's date, 7/23/23. It actually is the 23rd this time. And let me just zoom this up a bit so we can see what's happening. So, what I've done here in this example is I've just grabbed numbers. I've grabbed numbers from an outside source and I've transcribed them. I've done all that sort of stuff. And where did I get these numbers? Well, I got these numbers from Yahoo Finance. Now, obviously, you don't have to use Yahoo Finance if you prefer a different website that you can find information of a publicly traded company. Go ahead and use that. I just happen to know where everything is in Yahoo Finance. So I'm going to just pick a company. And I could pick Nintendo again, but, you know, why not? I'll pick something else. Apple. So, I click Apple. Here's Apple Inc. Here's a bunch of information about them. I'm just going to this tab that says Financials. And this right here is the information that I'm going to be using for this. Now, really, the only ones that I care about are going to be, whoops, not that chart, that's me uploading the videos, the total, the cost, and gross, okay? Or realistically, just the total and the cost. But first things first, if I'm going to make Apple my assignment, let's go and make Apple. So, I'm going to go, we've been doing all this stuff on the ribbon, we've been doing it in the Home tab. This time I'm going to go to the Insert tab. Because the Insert tab is where we get to insert stuff like pictures and tables. And although we're not going to use a table, we're just going to make one ourselves. And sparklines and web links and maps and all that sort of stuff. So I'm just going to go and click Picture. And I can pick a picture from a photo browser, a picture from the file, stock images, or online pictures. I'm just going to grab online pictures here. And since I decided I'm going to use Apple as I'm just going to do that Apple logo. And there's the Apple logo. Which Apple logo do I want to have? Oh, this one's nice. There we go. Insert. And there's the Apple logo. So here we go. Here's an Apple logo. Oh, the word Apple, I can even tell, is actually secretly being, I see the A-P-P-L-E being put behind here. You can see how the grid line is sort of messed up a bit. That's because I have white text on a mostly white background. But here's the thing about the ribbon. You see this thing that says now shape format and picture format? I click outside of it, it goes away. I click my image, it comes back. And there's the shape format right there as when I click the shape. When I click this, it switches the picture format. So, the ribbon will update with information for whatever you have. If you have a chart and you click on the chart, chart options will appear on the ribbon. If you have some spark lines down here and you click on the spark lines, stuff to change about the spark lines will appear up in the ribbon. Yeah. So if there's something that can be changed, it will appear up here. So we're now going to be in this. Let's just, first and foremost, let's just shrink this down a bit. Don't think I need that big of a file. And then let's see here. Can I change something else about this? I got to remove background option, transparency, artistic effect, color, corrections, soften contrast. Oh, let's do that. There we go. That's going to make the Apple II actually pop. But, and I can crop it. So if I wanted to, I could crop this and just get it so I only have the word Apple itself. And I could just do that if I really wanted to. I'll have a little inside bounding box and an outer bounding box. So the outer bounding box is the size of the picture. And the inner bounding box is the size of the window that I see through. Click outside of it. Boom. You'll see that now this is my image that I have as a picture. So obviously I probably didn't pick the greatest picture to use for this example, but it's something that works and we can kind of see what the picture formats up here are. I can also, maybe give this a window, maybe give it some drop shadow. I don't like that. Let me undo that. Maybe give it a little reflection. Let me go and give it some sort of, there we go, that kind of looks like Apple-y. Apple would do something kind of like that. But yeah, so that's just how those sort of things work. And I can change the height and width of this manually, so if I want it to be taller or whatnot, or I can uncheck this and make it specifically taller, but not change the width. Let me just undo that because I don't like the fact that that was that it looked like that. There we go. So I've got myself an image, and I've just decided that image is now what I'm going to use. Let me just delete that entirely. Oh, let me just select that, delete that entirely. There we go. I've got myself an image, and now I'm going to make myself a web link to say, hey, here's the proof of where I got these images from, or not images from, the data from. So, we all know what a hyperlink is, right? It's just a place that goes somewhere else. So my link is going to be over here, and this time I will just go to Insert, and over on this side there is Shapes, Pictures, Sparkline. There's Link. It's right over here. Click Link, and there's multiple types of web links I could have. I could have a link to a document, and I can go to some place in the document. So maybe if I were to have something all the way over on, cell Z27, I could have a click here to go to Z27. I could also click to go to an email address. But I'm going to go to a web page. And the web page I'm going to go to is going to be that. So I'm going to copy with Command-C and paste with Command-V. Now you'll notice that my text to display also happens to be my address. I don't really like that. That's really kind of long and cumbersome, and it goes across multiple cells. So, what I'm going to do instead, undo, is I'm going to make this link, boom, but the text that displays will be something like, click me, click here, something like that. So now I have a link that says click me, and you'll notice as I hover over it, it will take me to the correct web page. There are two things you need for a working hyperlink. You need something to click on and you need somewhere to go. And that's, a little image, and I've got ourselves a link to go somewhere. So now let's actually just transcribe this information. So I've got, from September 2022, 2021, 2020, and 2019. Okay, cool. So I know that I have myself years here. I've got 20, 22, 20. Actually, let me do this in reverse. Let's not do most recent on the left-hand side, because if we're making more money, that means the chart's going to look like it's going down, So let's flip these around. Let's do 2019 first. 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022. Boom. And I'll have my categories. Total revenue, cost of revenue, and then we'll just have our gross profit. Okay? There's obviously tons of other stuff, of all this sort of stuff that matters if you do anything in the stock market, like, where they thought their money was going to be and what they actually had. So right down here, on Q2 2022, they thought they were only going to get this much, but they got that much. So on and so forth. They thought they were going to get this much, but they actually got that much. Stuff like that. This is all stuff if you have an economics degree and you're going to take master's classes on economics. This is all stuff that will be interesting to you. For 99% of us, this is a bunch of numbers to look at. So I'm just going to grab the numbers. So obviously I've got total revenue. They were 260. Total revenue, they were 260. 174,000. And their cost of revenue was 161,782. Cool, and I'm going to do the same thing of whoop, 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 whoop. I forgot the 000. And then over here I've got 274,515,000. And I've got 169,559,000. Obviously, these numbers are rounded. It would be very impressive to have exactly $000 for your hundreds, tens, and ones digit. Matter of fact, these numbers are probably also having, things like fractions and decimals and all sorts of fun little things that don't, that are like less than percents of cents. Go, and then this is 394,328,000. It should be at this point where I let you know that you don't have to pick Apple, you don't have to pick Nintendo. Those are just the ones that I did in my examples. Okay? You don't have to do the exact thing that I'm doing as far as the exact company. I'm just going to say that you can pick your own company. As long as you can get at least 3 years worth of data, we'll accept it. Now then, let's just color some things in, okay? Let's go back to the home page. Let's see here. What colors would Apple like? Apple has the whole sort of sleek, chromey look. So I'm going to go with a gray background. Actually, I'm going to go with a gray background, white text. There we go. Gray background, white text. And I'm going to switch all these guys into accounting. Actually, I'm going to also switch these guys down here into accounting format. Accounting format. Going to get rid of those decimal points. There we go. You're probably wondering, why did I not actually use gross profit since it's literally right there? Well, that's because gross profit, in actuality, is just an equation. The total revenue minus cost of revenue is our gross. So in theory, if I put equals this cell minus this cell, that should be an accurate number. 98392. 98392, yep. Same thing, equals total revenue minus cost. equals total revenue minus cost equals total revenue minus cost. And there we go. And now, of course, if something were to change and I say, oops, that actually wasn't a 2, that was a 3, you'll see how this changes and updates automatically. But we're going to keep our information accurate here. Boom, there we go. And these are the numbers that we're going to use for the next step, which is making a chart. Now, remember in a previous video where I said, hey, guess what, guys? The assignments are in a way where if you design something properly to begin with, you won't have to worry about fixing things later. You know, I might have put it a little more eloquently like that than that, but point being, I designed this section specifically like this just so I could grab it like this, go to Insert, and grab a table. And I'll just pick a 2D not a table, a chart. And I can just grab a 2D chart, a 2D column, and boom, it'll make it generally more or less perfectly from the get-go. Let me delete that. If I were to do something like this and say years right here, now years is a category. And it thinks that this 2019-2020 is the same type of data as this dollar sign. So watch, just by simply putting the word years right in that area, and I go into Insert, go to my Charts, 2D column, and now I have an area for years, total revenue as well. It thinks years is a category, and needless to say, 2019 is way too small to be seen on this chart, considering we've got 260 million. And hint, hint, wink, wink, that's not actually million, that's probably actually billion, because I bet you the numbers are in thousands. Number in thousands, all numbers in thousands. So yeah, there's actually 3 more zeros that we should add on to this. Yeah. So yeah, no. That's the thing, that's the little difference. Get rid of this, make that blank, and you'll notice I only have 1 blank in the top left corner. So therefore it understands this is a category, and this is a category. X-axis, Y-axis, or X-axis, Y-axis. Point being, I've got 2 different axes. So I can just click and drag, or I can hold Shift, use my arrow keys, go up to Insert, grab a chart that I want. I could do a 3D column, maybe. I could do a bar chart, 2D bar, but I'm going to just go with a 2D column, keep it simple. And this information, let me just stretch this up here a bit. This information right here is an accurate representation of what's up here. So once again, if I were to change this to say, I don't know, that, my chart now updates to match my new data. There we go. And much like everything else here, I click this. Oh, and look, there's chart design and chart format that pop up right up here. I click outside of it, it goes away. I click back in there, it pops back up. So, what exactly do I want on this? Boop-a-da-boop-a-da-boop boop. Well, besides the fact that I wanted like bolds and underlines and whatnot, looks like italics here. It looks like I have some trend lines. It looks like I have some titles, US dollars and thousand, yearly financial, fiscal year, and I've got my legend on the right-hand side. So, let's do those bits one by one. First and foremost, my chart title simply says chart title. But what happens if I don't have a chart title? Boom. Well, in the Chart Design tab, there's this thing that says Add Chart Element. And I can go and it says Axes, Primary Axes, Chart Title. Chart Title currently says none. I could put the chart title above the chart, or I can put it overlaid in the chart. I'm going to put it above the chart. Boom. And I'll say this is Apple Finances. There we go. And same thing here. I can go and switch this all around and say, you know, quick layout. Oh, no, sorry, add chart element. Let me go to my axis titles. I need a primary title down here. These are obviously my years. So this is a fiscal year. Same thing again. Add a chart element, add a title on the vertical. Boom. And this is going to be US dollars in thousands. So this is you know, ridiculous sums of money, 450 billion. But yeah. So let's see here. What else do I want to add? I want to add. Let me add some grid lines. Yeah, let me go with major vertical grid lines. There we go. Now, in the same sort of situation, I can also switch the row. I can go boop and switch so that, you know, the total revenue, cost of revenue, gross profit are on there, and the years are at the bottom here. The years of my legend. Or I can make, you know, the years at the bottom and have this be my legend. Speaking of my legend, let me change where that legend is. Legend is going to be on the right-hand side. Boom, there we go. And let me just, you know, click the corners and stretch it out, make it bigger. There we go. Let's see here. Now all I need is I need my trend lines, and I think I need to have numbers at the top of it, don't I? Yeah, I do. So, let's go and say, chart element. Let me add a trend line. Now I could make a linear one or exponential one, so one that'll curve or a moving average. Let's just go with a linear one. And it's going to be a linear one on total revenue. Boom. There's my total revenue linear trend line. We generally are going in this direction. And I will do the same thing. Trend line linear with the cost of revenue. Then I'll do the same thing. Go to trend line linear, and I'll put that on gross profit. Boom, there we go. And now we're seeing those things like that. Let me go back to this add chart element again, and let me put data labels. So I can have data labels. Now I don't want them inside the cell, because that's going to be hard to read. Let's go with outside end. Boom. And, you know, that is still a little bit hard to read because Apple's finances are ridiculously big. So maybe I can kind of just click on these things, and let's see if I can shrink some of the sizes on this. You gonna let me shrink the sizes on this? Can I shrink the size? It's going to shrink the size, but that's going to shrink everything with it. So, can I expand you bigger? Can I make you more narrow? Yeah, I can make you more narrow. Yeah, let's see if I can do that. It's a little bit better. In theory, if I double-click this, area will pop up on the right-hand side here, and depending on what I click, depends on what I can change. I can probably click these numbers now and just say size or alignment, temporal, reshape to fit text. Gotcha, wrap text inside shape. Fill, shadow, alignment, vertical. Label options. Maybe it's under label options. Text options. Text options. Text box, vertical alignment. Somewhere in here, there's going to be a way to change the actual font size in this text. I'm sure it's in here somewhere. But, you know, this is where the ridiculous, all the information you could possibly ever want is. It's on this area as well. Let's see here. Can I switch? Should be axis. Okay, axis options. Minimum, maximum. Let's just, instead of having 4.5, let's just have the maximum be 4. Boom, there we go. Automatic, axis volume, display. tick marks, major, minor, none, none. Okay, labels, number, text options. Really, there's nothing involving changing the size. Let's go to home. Can I just do that? I could just do that. Well, so let me just click this then, and let me just change the font size a little bit there, make it a smidge more readable, so it's not overflowing everything. There we go. And now I have myself, if I zoom out of this, I've got myself a chart that goes along with these numbers that I have, and I've got all the information that I want. And I think I have all the information that I want, that. Okay, cool. So obviously, let me just now switch some things around with some formatting, italics, bold and underline U, bold and underline U, and there we go. Now, a couple of things to look out for. You'll notice that every single thing in my data is connected. By that I mean this cell is touching the next cell. There's no empty cells in between things. The moment there's an empty cell, so let me just go and insert a new cell here, that creates a gap in our plot because it goes number, number, nothing. Number, number, nothing. So, doesn't matter even if this cell is itty bitty bitty tiny like that, it's still going to cause a problem. So, make sure that you don't have any gaps in your data. You have the data touching data, cell to cell. But it'll automatically come up. Same thing if I were to do like a spark line. Spark lines are not part of the assignment, but if I were to literally go insert spark line, boom, line, boom, and I were to just grab my selection, same thing. This line that's been created, this line right here, let me just put some little markers on it just to prove a point. Dot, 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 dot. There's 4 points of data. The moment I have a new line in there, dot, dot, nothing. It doesn't understand how to go from this to nothing to that. So it just has this giant gap there. The moment there's a 0, hey, 0's data. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, boop, and that fixes it. Or fixes it close enough, but we still have this nothing here that's pretty bad. So let's just undo, undo, undo. And let's just undo the spark line itself entirely. There we go. And of course, always make sure that under the view option, under page layout, yeah, we can see that this guy is, excuse me. Boop, 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 boop. We can see that this guy is viewable. It would all fit on one page. We're good to go. So go back to normal view, save that, and of course, make sure that I'm sending the Excel file through Canvas, and we're good to go. So in this video, we learned a little bit about how to insert some stuff. Insert a picture, insert a web link, insert a table, and, once again, did a little bit more of coding. But realistically, we're on, the different page on the ribbon. And of course, as we click on different things, different design stuff and formatting stuff of that specific item will appear up in the ribbon. So I click on the chart design pops up. I click on the picture design stuff pops up. So it's just a matter of making sure that you also know what to look out for in the ribbon. So, see you guys in the next video. We're going to wind up using this information continuing on into the next couple of assignments. Thank you very much. You guys have a great day.